And how's everyone doing today? I hope you guys had a good night. I'm going to admit to being a little tired today, but we're gonna we're gonna get this Fabula Ultima idea out of my head. So people who were here earlier this week might remember Ghost and Slim and I did a put together a character, put together a world and character sheets for them, but neither of them was feeling up to it today. So, or if they're feeling up to it, they did not did not respond when I was trying to reach them about the stream. So, yeah. Instead, we are going to create one for us. Because, well, let's get, I have, there is the possibility of single player play. As with any tabletop, it is just a matter of how much work you're willing to put in. And this gives me a way to play things and explore things and not be tied down to whether somebody else is up for a session. So having this ready and ready to go and all that is just good practice, be ready to play by yourself if you have to, especially when as a streamer. But I'm waffling on. Let me just get the world sheets open. And this is definitely familiar, and I know you guys can see plenty of tabs up there, so let's just hide those. I'm not gonna lie, you guys can't see it, but I have in front of me every single Fabula Ultima book released. All three atlases, the core rule book, even the Dungeon Master's Guide and screen. I've even got a book called Fabula Solo, which is a bunch of useful tables and extra rules that somebody else came up with as a book to make it easier for people looking to play the game solo. How you doing, Slim? You have been a difficult panda to reach lately. So I'm actually putting together a solo world to start off, for when there's just no option but me to play solo. But to make it so that it's not just me playing by myself, I do want to get chat's input on stuff. So I think the real question here is, what are we naming this world? What are we going to name this world? Understandable. Yeah. To be fair, Ghost wasn't feeling too up to it today either, so I'm honestly surprised he's not here already. Yeah. What are we naming this world? Like, and we are not using one of the default maps. I've got a paint program open. Ooh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Here's hoping you find it. What do we name the world? Oh, Slim, you might not have been here for it, but I finally got all of the atlases. I now have all the Fabula Ultima books, except for the bestiary that's currently in Kickstarter, of course. Which once it's finally released beyond the Kickstarter, I'll be getting it. Yeah, I'm fine with waiting for it. I'm not spending $60 to get a hardback version of it when I'll wait until it releases for $25. Oh, but seriously, what are we naming this world? Hmm, I think it is the world of Purenica. It is the world of Purenica that somehow feels appropriate. We're not going to use either of these maps. Screw these maps. I, mm, the world. I think what I like the world based around. Well, I'm kind of thinking we'll do some. As far as magic technology, we'll do something similar like we are for Fantia. Which, by the way, the name Purenica. I've got purified bottles of in front of me. I'm thinking like Fantio will have, we'll have the magic technology crystals, based on magic crystals. Just because that is just a useful idea, you know. But I'm actually going to be using a different program for the character creation. I'm going to be using, where is it? This one? Yes, it is. I'm actually. I've got so many windows open right now. It's kind of funny. I'm going to be using Fultimator to make the character. You know, and I've already got it placed. I just have to open it. Oh, but that's neither here and there. We need to get the world made first. By my own insistence, I need to do the world first. It's gonna bug me if I don't. Let's just hide Ultimator. All right. What are we basing this world around? We'll just call it based on crystals this time instead of magic crystals. Um, magic is magic in the old ways is still practiced across most of the world. with magic's common across most of the world, with some areas um, uh, magical dead zones. So there's certain areas of the world where magic just doesn't work. You know, there are certain areas of the world where magic just doesn't work, and you know, your mage that throws around spells, your arcanist that infuses their body with with their arcanum, it doesn't work. You know, not even anything that can be termed as magic does not work in these areas. You know, that would huh. R- Rimlithia? Is that what you're suggesting? The instead of crystals, that actually is a phenomenal name. Um, I really, I really used a T there instead of the R. I think le- talking about the specifics of it in there is probably that might be something that our character explores at some point. It might be something that either my character or one that joins the party at some point. That'll be something they explore. Uh, what kind of historical events have we seen? Has the world seen? Like any good world, you know, where did Rimlithia come from? Where did Rimlithia come from? Is it a naturally occurring thing? Is it nope, that falls under enigmas and mysteries. Mm, and well, uh, so we've got the advent of magic technology, probably several hundred years ago. You know, and while they know how to use, while they figured out that that you can power it and make it do things that you want, they don't really know what it is. They don't know where it's from, how it's formed. They're mining it, but it's the equivalent of us figuring out what TNT mining was in the first place. Um chaotic. Also, Slim, remember I said I have all the uh all the atlases now. High fantasy, techno fantasy, natural fantasy. This one's exciting me, honestly, because as it turns out, one of the classes in it is merchant. And I'm looking forward to checking that out. We'll call it we've got the advent of of magic technology as one of the big hallmarks of historical hallmarks. Yeah, yeah. Um, well, we need a war. We need a historical war post magic technology where people were really they were they went full arms race because even fictional fantasy races, they have a tendency to be assholes to their neighbors, so of course they're going to. What do you think? What do we call this massive war? Not necessarily a world war, but like the Crystal War. The, well, I mean, we don't even have a shape for the world yet. So the Crystal Wars. It implies that there were several smaller wars going on in different parts of the world. And so we need to figure out what the world's going to look like, I suppose. That should be our next step here. Let me just find my correct my correct capture for this. All right, there it is. We'll just hide that for the moment. Pull up paint. Come on, paint. You're visible. There you go. Way too big. Bring it down, Chief. What what races am I planning to have? I don't know yet. I don't know. Part of that might be what we figure out here. Um, all right. So I'm thinking. Let's see what's our brush like. All right, decent sized brush. All right, good. Um, that felt a little weird there. I need to find out if there's there there I almost wanted to do this in I almost wanted to do this with the calligraphy pen, but I was at the all right. And just clean that up a little. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of. Oh God, that made it worse. You know what? Screw it. We're just gonna we're just gonna do paint the whole thing in brown in there for now. And we are 100% making this very ugly. I'm not even lying. Not even gonna pretend. We're just gonna dye these different colors just as a generic or just legitimately just kind of fudging together a small map. All right, so what are we thinking? I need. Yeah, most of the world is most of this world, at least at the moment, appears to be. I'm thinking multiple land masses, like. I kind of don't like that right there at all. So I think currently we're looking the colored ones of three major nations. Yep. I'm thinking this is a floating continent, a floating island. Um we'll call that the Crescent Archipelago, so to speak. It's not very crescent like, but it works. I'm thinking that's about okay. We need something for the a color for this last landmass here. This last large one. All right. I'll try. I'll try to remember to. Let me just throw a save down on this real quick. Let me just save that. We'll call that the map for now. It's going to be fixed. It's going to be updated. It's going to be changed. There, just assume that for now we're operating on the principle of there's four big nations, all separated by seas and oceans. So ships are going to be a big thing. That's a reasonable expectation there. All right, let me just minimize this, hide that, and get back to. Oh, nope, wrong one. God, I've got so many that I have to keep track of. It's hard to remember them all. So we have three major kingdoms. I need I need four major kingdoms. I need names for those four kingdoms. Hmm. Hmm. All right. So I think one of them we'll call it Galimdor. I think we got one major kingdom called Galimdor. One called Don. Hmm. Hmm. And these are the major kingdoms right here. Oh, Kalimdor, Don, Venetia, and God, I need one more name. But you got one for me, Slim? Hmm. While you're thinking on that, I'm gonna step away for just a minute. Mystria. Oh, that's a good one, actually. All right. And I'm thinking as far as what the I'm thinking as far as what these countries are, let's call it, specialized in. Let me just move my tablet out of the way so I can get better access to my keyboard. I think Galimdor is going to be, what are we thinking? The Marshall Kingdom? Like they're the ones more likely to have knights and you know, and you know, knights and battlement and horse mounted. They're the ones more likely to have a traditional medieval army. We'll call it the knightly kingdom. And not a lot of war magic here. Not a lot of war magic in Galimdor. They're more concerned with the they're more likely to be the sword and board, the lancers, the archers. They have a very martial physical history. Um Don is honestly, Don doesn't really make me think of any one specific thing. So let's make Don the center of tech, the Empire of Progress. They're the ones at the forefront of magic technology development. They're the ones, they're the ones pushing the envelope in technology. You know, they're that's where you're finding your your mecca. This is the closest place that might have some form of fantasy mecca. You know, that's where you're gonna see a lot of machines. Panedia, I feel like this is the religious kingdom. I feel like Panedia is the religious kingdom. It's where, like, they don't refer to themselves as a kingdom. They refer to it as the Holy Lands. They're not an empire. They're not a kingdom. They're a land of religion. And maybe we don't know what religion they follow there. But our character will probably find that out at some point, depending on where we're from. Mystria, it sounds like they're all about mysticism. The lands of the mystic. It's less of a kingdom and more a loose agglomeration of city states. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best description of Mystria. Lots of magic research here. You know. And what kind of threats are we gonna see? You know, we've got this army of soldiers, but they're all hmm. All right. I think that's enough for us to start making our character. I think hmm, I want our character to be from the Crescent Islands. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we can move on from that to nope, not that one. This one, right? Yeah, this is Ultimator. All right. So let's start creating our character. We'll work out a picture later on, but what's our name? What if our name is okay. Okay, so Fabula Ultima, you're supposed to come up with an identity, a theme, and an origin before you even think of a name. So let's work on the identity. What kind of character are we? We are. Hmm. What kind of character? Playful vagabond. No. I mean, we grew up on an isolated island nation, so I wouldn't expect us to know much about magic. So, no, our day can't be anything involving magic specifically. Um, we don't have a quirk, by the way. Don't ignore that part of the down there. Identity. Our identity is adventurous. We will define ourselves as an adventurous youth. No, not a youth. Explorer. We're an adventurous explorer. Our, that's our identity. That gives us a fair bit of and our theme is ambition, where our ambition is to explore and discover new, new to us, not necessarily to everyone, new to us. We are a villager of the Crescent Islands. Nice and simple. We don't have a name yet. I will say we are he, him. So, all right, with that down, let's look at classes. Uh, so I'm thinking if we're gonna call ourselves an explorer, we probably want Wayfarer as one of our two classes. Let's figure out our two classes first, though. We look at high fantasy. I don't think any of these are going to be useful for now. But if we look at natural fantasy, hmm, what is merchant like? Let's see what merchant says down here. Doesn't tell us because we haven't finished. What does merchant offer us? Hmm. Okay, maybe we don't want this class right now. Yeah, I want to remove the class. This one, I'm pretty sure we need. It'll be useful. Maybe we. Maybe we don't take Faithful Companion immediately. We don't take Faithful Companion immediately. Hear me out. Hear me out. We don't take it immediately. What we take is a level in resourceful. And a level in tavern talk, I think. Yes, that give you got the yeah, I think that's what we do for Wayfarer in your DM in my DMs. All right. All right, I'll have to take a look at but what? Hmm. All right. I will have I will have to get you the actual map that I put together. Hmm. What bonus content classes? No. What got reworked? Arcanist got reworked? Wait, what? There was a rework for Arcanist? No, I don't think I want that. But let's see. Techno Fantasy only had 3, and Psychic Warrior mutates into things to fight, and bot and pilot of a mecha. None of those scream grew up on an island, so what is the Invoker like? Let's take a look at the Invoker here. Hmm. No, I don't think we want this one, just this one. Might be interesting to look into, but let's look at the core book again. You know. I'd say late teens to early 20s. You know, kind of in the prime of my life, setting out. The question is, as an islander who's never really as an islander who's just lived there most of his life up to this point, do I prefer to get into it with my fists, or do I use a weapon of some kind? I'm not going to be a guardian. I live in poor islands. It's not like I can afford armor. The most the most ranged weapon I would have access to is like a thrown spear, a javelin of some kind, or a bow. So sharpshooter is a possibility, but it feels like if I'm gonna call myself an adventurous individual, that I'm willing to get in close. Kind of want to go. Kind of want to go with a fury. I think. I mean, as long as I'm in crisis, I'll deal skill level times 2 extra damage. So little extra punch. My accuracy checks with brawling, dagger, flail, and thrown weapons are always a critical success if both dice show the same number, and it's not a fumble, which is just so useful. Like Indomitable Spirit is that chest beat. I'm good. I'm ready to go. Let's get it going. you know. That's your second win from using a Fabula point there. So I'm thinking 2 levels in I'm thinking 2 levels in Fury, and then one going back to the core rule book. I'm thinking one in Lore Master. Weirdly enough, I'm thinking Lore Master because I'm it. I'm as it says here. I'm an adventurous explorer. Means I'm curious about and trying to learn about the world. That's why I took Tavern Talk. You know, and Lore Master is all about knowing things and learning things. Perfect for somebody who's trying to explore the world, wouldn't you say? Hmm. I'm thinking quick assessment will be the one that's probably the most useful early on. Because at the start of a conflict, I can spend up to skill level times 5 mind points. For every mind points I spend this way, choose one option. I can choose a creature I can see, and the GM reveals one of their traits, or I can name a damage type and choose a creature I can see, and the GM reveals that a creature's affinity towards that damage type. That's basically giving me a hint right there what types of enemy, what types of damage I should be gearing towards once I can deal multiple types. That's actually pretty useful. Yeah, I think it doesn't leave me any magic, but again, I'm not exact I'm a islander. I'm an islander who's grown up and decided he wants, his goal is to explore as much of the world as he can. Why would I wouldn't know magic at this point. Right now my build is all about being able to continue fighting longer, continue exploring longer, and you know, and knowing my environment a little better. All right. I almost took treasure hunter instead of resourceful, but I'm alone with no guaranteed heal, so I need to be able to recover my inventory points in order to use potions to heal myself, because I won't have a mage casting healing on me, and I won't always be able to take rests. So moving over to the stat block. Um, I'm thinking might and insight. You're smart and you hit hard. No. Dexterity and insight. Dexterity and insight. And the reason I'm not going might, the reason I'm choosing dexterity instead of might is because dexterity is your, how to describe dexterity. I've got a, let's see, dexterity. If I really, I left this full screen. All right. Dexterity in the core rule book is described as, where is it? Dexterity is, I know the way I describe it, but the dexterity is your precision, your coordination, your finesse, your reflexes. Basically, it's your chance to freaking dodge things. Insight is your observation, your understanding, and reasoning. I, my goal is to learn and understand the more of the world. So insight being a D10 actually makes sense. Um, Might is strength, resilience, and physical fortitude. Willpower is your determination, your charisma, your ability to influence others. So I'm thinking, as far as stats go, we make insight a D10. Dexterity and might will be D8s, and willpower will be a D6. We're gonna take a standard. Yeah, we're not somebody who's hyper trained for years in order to be the best of the best in our category, in our field. We're we're somebody who's taken a keen interest and we've spent time learning, and but not entirely neglected everything else. I think that'll work. And and we're choosing to be a fist fighter. Mhm. That cost us 150. We can equip, what kind of armor can we afford? We can equip martial armor. This cost 150, so they'll give us an just straight 10 on our defense. So, instead of relying on our die, that's probably the better option for us. And all right, so that's 300. Can we get another iron knuckle and equip it? We can. So we've got a pair of iron knuckles ready to beat people into submission with. but that was 450 of our starting 500. So then Slim, I need you to do a roll in chat for me. Roll 2d6. You should be able to do that either exclamation or slash. Hmm. What you got for me? How much gold do I have left in my savings after buying our equipment? All right, so exclamation didn't work. Try slash. You might have to put a space between roll and 2d6. All right, an 8. So 80 plus the 50 left over from the 500 from buying. So we are sitting at a nice 130 for our for our savings. And Slim has been quite nice to give us an image here. So let me just grab that and we will you generated this with AI, didn't you? It won't let me all right. That looks good enough. All right. So we still need a name for our character. I do actually quite like it. Oh. Um did we not? Oh, we never equipped our armor. There we go. Now our armor is 10. What do we call him? What do we call our character? We need a name still. I do like it. Gensui? No, Gensui feels wrong. He's an islander, so he doesn't. Hmm. I'm thinking he's not an orphan or anything. He knows his family, so we have to give him back a last name too. But that name screams that name, I mean, that picture screams his parents moved to the islands instead of being natives. Hmm. You know, you know what? It's hmm, nice. Um, there we go. There we go. It's Dick Riper. Clearly, his family's not native to the islands, even though he was born and raised there. All right. All right. That's actually kind of neat. Actually, I suppose knowing that we don't need two of these, but I've got them now, so all right. So we have our character and we have our world. Do we want to make a companion for him? Do we want to make a companion that he leaves the world, that he goes out into the world with, or do we want to have him choose to adventure on his own at first, like a best friend, best girl, whatever it is? Do we want to give him a companion for his adventures? Or do we want him to find companions as he travels? Remember, any additional characters I'm going to have to play also. I think I think I think I will and he does have wayfarers, so he can get an animal companion. He can gain an animal companion. I chose not to start with one for simplicity's sake, but who knows? All right. Well, either way, I think we are going to call it here, mostly because I'm tired and you know I guess still got some stuff I gotta do before I can go to bed. Like, got to go out and buy stuff, something for the trip next week. I repeat, the 20th through the 24th, 25th, I will not be in town. So it's going to be a week of mostly no contact. I might tweet out or post a little on Discord, but overall, nobody should expect to hear much from me next week. So, in the meantime, I will see you guys next time. Catch you later. Peace.